नमस्कार। आज हम ऐसे व्यक्तित्व से मिलेंगे जो हमेशा हमें आध्यात्मिक ताकत से हमारे पंचतत्वों को जागरूक रखने की कला सिखाते रहे हैं। यही पंचतत्व जब नश्वर होकर मिट्टी में मिल जाते हैं तो उस मिट्टी को बचाने का संदेश भी आज वही हमें पूरे दुनिया को पहुंचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आज हम बात करेंगे आध्यात्मिक गुरु सदगुरु जी से। सदगुरु जी, बहुत बहुत स्वागत। आप हमें हमेशा से ही कला सिखाते रहे हैं कि अध्यात्म के ज़रिए हम हमारे पंचतत्वों को किस प्रकार से जागरूक रखें, पर ये पंचतत्व जिस मिट्टी में विलीन हो जाते हैं उस मिट्टी को भी हमें जागरूक रखना है। इसके लिए भी आप संदेश दे रहे हैं दुनिया भर में। क्या कारण है मुख्य तौर पर, आप क्यों चाहते हैं कि उस मिट्टी के लिए हमें काम करना चाहिए?
See, it is not that the five elements merge with soil. Except for Akash, everything else comes from soil.
Yeah.
People are going and searching in other planets why there is no water. There is no water because there is no soil. Because water cannot happen without soil being alive. The soil is not alive, so all these things cannot happen. So among the five elements, earth becomes the base element which supports everything else in the making of our body, in the making of the world around us, everything. Today, unfortunately, it has come to a situation where the top scientists in the world, soil scientists in the world, are talking about soil extinction. When we use the word extinction, generally we think of dinosaurs and dodos and these kind of things. But now we're talking about soil extinction. What soil extinction means is, in another 50 to 60 years' time, the biodiversity in the soil could come down by 90%. Right now, every year on an average, 27,000 species are going extinct. At this rate, we can get to a 90% lowered biodiversity by in another 55, 60 years' time, possibly. So this is the indications. Based on this, if we do not turn back the soil now, we are in a cusp of time where we are both challenged and also there's a privilege that we have the capability to turn it around right now. Still the biodiversity is complex enough to turn it around right now. But if it slides like this for another 30 to 40 years' time, then we will not be able to turn this back. This is a known fact. I have been I have been traveling everywhere, meeting various agricultural ministries, bureaucrats, ministers, variety of people. In the last 2.5 years, as I met more and more people, particularly scientists, UN agencies, everything, what I realized was, everybody knows the problem. Everybody knows the general direction of the solution, but they've been waiting for an idiot to come and bell the cat, so here I am.
मुख्य तौर पर आप जिस प्रकार से कह रहे हैं कि हर एक को पता है कि समस्या क्या है,
Those who are in responsible positions.
यानी जो यूनाइटेड नेशन हो या फिर कई सारे जो ऐसी संस्था है वो लगातार अलर्ट भेजती रही है कि भुखमरी एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या होगी, और मुख्य तौर पर उस वर्ग के लिए जो कि गरीब तबका है। और अगर हम मिट्टी को नहीं बचा पाए तो हम वहाँ तक खाद्य नहीं पहुँचा पाएंगे, ना तो हम धान पहुँचा पाएंगे, और इसलिए ये बचाना ज़रूरी है। तो आपको क्या लगता है कि अगर हम इस धरती को बचा लेते हैं तो कितने वर्षों में, एक अगर लगातार प्रयास होता है तो कितने वर्षों में हम उसको पुनर्जीवित कर सकते हैं?
See, I am essentially focusing on agricultural soils because agricultural land accounts for 54% of the arable land on the planet. That is full-scale agriculture. Another 18 to 20% is partial agriculture. So nearly 71% of the world's land is under farm. This is one piece of geography where human hand is every day tending to it. Men and women are working on it. If we can't turn this around then we can't save anything else really. Because here our attention and our activity is there. This involves our nourishment, this involves our survival, this involves our economy. In spite of that, if we don't do that, how are we going to save rainforests and oceans and something else? So, how long would it take? See, we've written a policy document, this is for India.
Yeah.
We made similar documents like this for 193 different nations. Different documents are made, this is over 500 pages of document. 193 nations, depending upon their latitudinal position, their soil type, their economic conditions and their agricultural policies, traditions rather. So based on this, we made documents for all 193 and now these books have reached everybody through the COP15 where I addressed all these nations. There is a serious debate now within those nations how to this thing. I don't think there's a debate whether they should do it or not. Everybody agrees that this must be done. How quickly is the question? If you ask me how quickly, if I had a piece of land and if I have the money and if I'm not depending on the land to earn my living, I could turn this around in 12 to 18 months. Right now in India, average organic content is 0.68%. Raising it to 3 to 4%, I can do it in 12 to 18 months. But this will cost some money. There is some investment. So if I'm not willing to invest like that, let's say only in the summer months when the lands are open, we do cover cropping. Cover cropping is the simplest way to do it. Minimal, very minimal, per acre, approximately 600, 700 rupees if you invest, it'll be done. So if cover cropping if we do, in 6 to 8 years' time, depending on the land, let's say 4 to 8 years' time, if the land is rich, it'll turn around quickly, some lands will take more time. In 8 years' time, almost every land, you can get it above 3% with very minimal investment. What is needed is not money, what is needed is not technology, what is needed is determination and resolute action without changing directions.
अगर हमें डायरेक्शन मिल भी जाए, जैसे कि आपने विजन डॉक्यूमेंट बनाया है, आप कई सरकारों को पहुंच रहे हैं, जब आप भारत सरकार को ये देते हैं तो भारत सरकार की मुख्य तौर पर प्रतिक्रिया क्या है और वो किस प्रकार से इस पर अपनी पॉलिसीज़ में बदलाव करने को तैयार है और किस प्रकार से इस पूरे मूवमेंट को आगे ले जाना चाह रही है?
See, we have already given the document presented it to the Prime Minister, Agriculture Minister, Environment Minister, Petroleum Minister, and we will be presenting one to the Niti Aayog and we will set the debate going. Prime Minister has 100% expressed the intent. All the chief ministers in these 5 states have expressed the intent. Now, we need to work out a policy. This is a handbook. Okay. This is a technical handbook.
Okay.
This we are not talking about how a state should make a policy. Because policy involves budgets, policy involves how to disperse these things, how to activate these things. This only a government can do. We have put together, with the help of top scientists in the world, a handbook for making policy. Handbook is a technical subject. The technical aspect of how the soil will respond, what are the different types of soils, what type of activity you must do in different type of soil to get it back. So, this may take a few months of process for them to arrive at this, but we need to remember the central government does not have a geography of its own. The geography is in the hands of the states. So, it's essentially a state subject. Center will definitely send a recommendation that minimum 3% organic content must be achieved. Already Rally for Rivers, the document that we gave, it was a 760-page document. They made this an official recommendation and sent it to all the 28 states. Only 6 states got into action. Others were slow on it. But in the meantime, the pandemic came, the coronavirus came. Last 2 years, everything has come to standstill except in Karnataka and to some extent in Tamil Nadu, because there the process is on. We have taken up the activity with the farmers, so it's going on. In other places, it stopped because the pandemic came, the whole attention moved in a different direction. So like this, many distractions will come, but we need to understand soil is an existential issue. This is not something this is why I said a resolute this thing. Why would they give it up? Like this, there may be a pandemic, there may be a war, there may be an economic situation, there may be something else. whatever happens, we must keep the direction because the future well-being of the nation depends on how we preserve our soils.
सर, इसी मुद्दे को लेकर आपने महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री से भी मुलाकात की है, यहाँ के पर्यावरण मंत्री से आपने बात की है, किस प्रकार से उनसे आपको रेजोल्यूशन मिला है, किस प्रकार की कमिटमेंट उनके तरफ से आपको दी गई है इस पूरे मुद्दे को लेकर?
100% they are with the policy. Now they've asked for our teams to come and work with their departments to see how to take this ahead. So our teams will come and handhold these departments. Our expertise is not in forming the economic policy, that is the finance department and others to do it. Our thing is to just craft for different soils what is it that you can do, with minimum expenditure what you can do, with more expenditure what you can do. Now, in every state, it need not be taken up for the entire state. Maybe 20% of the state you can revive with incentives. Once people see the development that happens there and the prosperity that comes to the farmer because of rich land, once that starts manifesting 3-4 years' time, then everybody will naturally want to go for it. So, getting the whole state with 5-6 crore population may be difficult to, inspire everybody. So, where the farmers are most active and more dynamic, there you can get it going and then replicate that everywhere else.
सर, मुख्य तौर पर इसी पूरे मूवमेंट को, इसी यात्रा को अब लगभग 27 देशों तक पहुंचा चुके हैं और अब महाराष्ट्र मुंबई में है मुख्य तौर पर। आज सुबह आप धारावी गए थे, धारावी जो कि देश की आशिया की सबसे बड़ी झुग्गी झोपड़ी है, वहाँ पर आप गए। क्या संदेश और किस प्रकार का प्रतिसाद आपको देखने को मिला वहाँ पर?
Mostly I was invited by the youth of Dharavi. I went there and they had set up a stage doing their hip-hop, doing their rap music and some classical dance. Amazing talent out there. I must say this, that traveling through these 27 nations everywhere, very high-class professional presentations were made. Some of them are internationally known artists. Variety of music, dance, things were done in our events. But probably this Dharavi event was one of the sweetest events that we witnessed. It was so absolutely, touching, very tender kind of moment there.
हम as a journalist हो या as a youth हो, हम लगातार आपको फॉलो करते रहे हैं, फिर सोशल मीडिया पर हो, आपके इंटरव्यूज़ के ज़रिए हो, सबसे यूनिक स्टाइल के साथ गुरुजी हमें मिलते हैं और हमें हमेशा ऐसा लगता है कि गुरुजी हम में से एक है। तो ये जो लाइफस्टाइल है मुख्य तौर पर गुरुजी की, इसके पीछे कोई एक धारणा है, इसके पीछे कोई एक ऐसा ठहरा कर आप इस प्रकार के अपने आप को रखते हैं या उसके पीछे कोई और लॉजिक है?
You're asking if it's a conscious effort to dress in a particular way?
हमेशा, yes.
Well, I'm riding a motorcycle. If I dress with my dhoti and kurta, you think I can ride? So I'm riding appropriately. So see, this is one thing. Somebody was asking me this question in Gujarat. They said, Sadguru, you're a spiritual guru, but you're riding this motorcycle, all this. I said, see, you Gujaratis are always worshipping Krishna all the time. One title and one name for Krishna is, he's a Sarathi. That means he was a great driver. Nobody will take a lousy driver into the battlefield. If he's a bad driver, he may be God, but if he's a bad driver, nobody's going to take him. He must have been the best driver there, that's why somebody chooses him to be there. So, this whole idea that spirituality is some kind of a disability has been created. If you say, I'm spiritual, first thing they'll ask you is, what are the things you cannot do? They're not asking what are the things you can do. So, spirituality is not a disability, it is a tremendous empowerment. It should start at the earliest time in your life, because unfortunately in the last few hundred years, they have spread this image. Spiritual person means he will simply sit, he won't be able to do anything. So naturally, people think spirituality should come at the end of your life. No, spirituality should start with the beginning of your life, because it's a tremendous empowerment. Empowerment should happen at the beginning, not at the end.
गुरुजी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और आपकी इस पूरे यात्रा को जी मीडिया की तरफ से बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू। नमस्कार।
मराठ्यांची तळपती तलवार म्हणजे